I love my older relatives. Don't get me wrong. I love my older relatives. But have you ever been in a situation where an older relative has had to use a piece of technology and they have kind of been using it and turned to look at you and they're like, oh, I don't get these newfangled things. And your brain goes to, that's been standard for the last 15 years. It's not newfangled in any way. It's a contactless card. It has been standard since I've been 15 or 16 years old. And now I'm over 30. That is not new. All you are showing is complete ignorance of modern technology and unwillingness to learn. I used to work in retail. Oh, it's 10p for a bag? Since when? Since 12 years ago, my friend. You've had over a decade to come to terms with this new law that they brought in. Ooh, I wish people could just use cash. It's not been standard for the last 10 years. Many people still do. Oh, but businesses... Oh, I love this as well. This is legal tender. They walk into a shop. This is legal tender. You have to accept this. No, let's sit down and give you a little law. Legal tender has to be accepted by government agencies to settle debts that you have with the government. If you have a debt with the government and you turn up and you provide them with legal recognized tender, they must accept that tender. If they refuse that tender, they are effectively defaulting on the debt and saying that you don't need to pay it anymore because you offered payment and then, they declined it. However, a private business is able to refuse any service that they want to you for any reason. And if that reason is they don't want to accept the form of payment that you're offering, they're allowed to do that. And that's not discrimination. That's just what they're allowed to do. Oh, you can't do that. I want to purchase this. You legally have to accept the money. No, you don't. Not at all. The business has to accept form of payment in the way that it and you are both accepting of. I really dislike this. What I dislike is the fact that old people just refuse to learn stuff. US currency says all debts, public and private. Potentially, but it also says it's backed by gold and none of the currencies are anymore. Yeah. There's that thing where, I'm going to pay with cash, I'm going to put the cash down and walk out. No, that's not how the debt of purchase is settled. The company does not have to accept this money. It's not taking ownership of it. Just because you leave something somewhere doesn't mean the company takes ownership of it. If you walk out with that, but you've not paid them in a way that they're happy with, that is theft, my friend. Anyway, I got onto this rant because I was with some of my older relatives recently, and they were like, I just can't get my hang around this newfangled contactless card. It's not new. We've had Apple Pay on the watch for the last 10 years. This isn't new. You just put the card on the bit that has the picture of the card. That's it. It's one of the easiest, if anything, it's easier than anything else. What I love is when, and let's just go for this, I love it when old people like to boast about the fact that they can do old stuff and new people can't. It's often you see it on Facebook, they're like, I might be 60, but I can still find the channel on an analog TV and set the VCR and use a rotary phone and write a check. Okay. You will never have to do any of these things. You are bragging about only knowing what was popular in your childhood. This is not what you need to do. My granddad once said to me, you can't even write a check. I'm like, why would I need to? I'll just do online banking. He's like, I don't trust that online banking. I'm like, yeah, because checks are historically 100% safe. No one's ever done that. No one's ever made the mistake of, them being wrong or bouncing or being faked. Totally 100% safe. These damn kids, they don't know how to program in COBOL. Unless you're programming Roller Coaster Tycoon entirely in a text language, that's when we need to talk. Yeah. It's fascinating that old people like to boast and brag about still... There was a newspaper article that came out that said Today's millennial, today's kids, Generation Alpha or whatever it is, or Z or Zoomer, whatever they call themselves, Generation Z has worse DIY skills than the Boomer generation. Yeah, we probably do. We probably buy stuff that lasts longer, and we would just then pay someone to fix it if we needed to. Also, the Boomer generation has worse blacksmithing skills than the Saxon generation. Technology moves on, skills change. If your only source of, personal satisfaction is bragging about the fact that you're still quite good at a technology that was important when you were a child and has since moved on, then maybe catch up with it. I mean, my granddad on my other side used to build PCs. He was awesome. He retired from the RAF and then thought, I'm quite bored now, went on eBay, bought every individual component of a PC, and then just stuck it together. Didn't know what he was doing, taught himself to build PCs. Just because he wanted to. I once said to him, Grandad, my PC's broken. He went, here you go. He gave me one. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't very good, but he just gave me the PC. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Can you show me how to upgrade it? And he did.